So you are thinking of roaming internationally and you see this video saying, well, there are reasons why you should not roam internationally. Well, what are these reasons? So you probably know some of them. For example, that roaming can be extremely expensive. You've probably seen headlines, or you may have already seen this video where I explain why international roaming is super expensive. But in this video I will give you a few more reasons why you may not want to roam internationally. So let's just get started, shall we? Hi, it's Otto from Phone Tourist here, where we talk about everything related to traveling with your phone. So if you have already subscribed to my channel, then you have already seen that I've talked about buying local SIM cards in all over the world, like Africa, Americas, Oceania, just all over the world. Whereas international roaming, guys, there's a playlist there, but it's like, you can count it on two hands, at least at the time of recording. And it makes you wonder, is Otto getting paid for promoting all these SIM cards? Well, I wish I was getting paid for that. Right now I'm getting paid nothing by these operators. But then again, who would sponsor somebody talking about SIM cards? That would be a nice sponsor thing though, so if you are a sponsor out there, hit me up. Anyway, the reason why I really recommend local SIM card is because it's in most cases the cheapest way to stay connected when traveling. Whereas international roaming usually comes with some expensive costs, like these headlines that I'm showing you where people got charged outrageous rates. Well, in this video I will give you 6 reasons why you may not want to roam internationally and consider doing something else, which is a follow-up video of my video where I gave you 6 reasons why you should roam internationally, which I would recommend you to watch as well. So let's just get started with number 1, which is something that I already mentioned earlier, is it can be super expensive. Some operators, they charge criminal rates for international roaming, for the convenience that you can use your SIM card abroad. And the thing is, it doesn't always have to be super expensive. Most operators have like roaming plans that are much cheaper compared to standard roaming rates. And when I say standard roaming rates, those are the pay-as-you-go rates, where you will be charged per action, so per minute, SMS or kilobyte or megabyte. And with standard roaming rates, that's how people get these outrageous bills when they roam abroad. So if you're gonna roam, make sure to avoid standard roaming rates and get a roaming plan, like the plans that I talk about in this playlist up here of the international roaming guys that I've covered on this channel, or go to phonetourist.com/roaming-provider where I have more written roaming guides. Okay, that was the most obvious thing, but 2 can be the lack of roaming agreements. Each operator around the world, if they want to cover the world with roaming agreements, they have to make roaming agreements with at least one operator in, well, the 194 countries or the 200 plus territories that we have in the world. Well, some operators, especially smaller operators, they cannot be bothered to make all these roaming agreements. So let's say if you're going to St. Helena or Ascension Island, which is next to Argentina in the South Atlantic Ocean, you will notice that, well, they don't really have that many roaming agreements with foreign operators at all. For example, the one of Ascension Island, they have roaming agreements with like 15 operators around the world. And maybe thinking, well, this is my first time hearing of Ascension Island and St. Helena, which I cannot blame you for. And you probably also did not notice that what I showed you earlier on the screen was not St. Helena and Ascension Island. Those were the Falkland Islands. St. Helena and Ascension Island is closer to, well, not really close, but closer to Angola in the, well, center of the South Atlantic Ocean. You didn't expect to get bamboozled in this video, huh? But anyway, if your operator does not have a roaming agreement with operators in the country you're visiting, then you are simply not able to roam because there's no roaming agreement. And this brings us to number 3, is inconsistent pricing with the roaming agreements. In most countries there are multiple operators, usually between 2 and 5 operators. The more established operators around the world, they try to make a roaming agreement with multiple operators of particular countries, so that if there's no coverage with one operator, your phone can connect to the other operator. That comes with some caveats because the prices that they charge each other can be different. So let me just give you an example. Singtel for Malaysia may have a roaming agreement with Telstra in Australia and Vodafone Australia. Just to keep things simple, the roaming agreement between Singtel and Telstra is 10 Singaporean dollar per gigabyte, which is fine, that's reasonable, I would say. But the roaming agreement with Vodafone Australia is 20 Singaporean dollar. You may be wondering, well, why would there be a difference in price? That's because the operators can charge each other how much they want. There's no international framework that tells the operators that, okay, you can only charge each other X, Y, Z. If you want to learn more about why roaming is so expensive, this video actually explains it more in depth. But you can see that even though we are talking about the same country, Australia, the operators can charge each other different rates. So with Telstra we have 10 Singaporean dollar, with Vodafone Australia we have 20 Singaporean dollar. So let's say if you forget to change your phone settings from automatic network selection to manual network selection. Your phone may connect to Telstra first, where you'll be charged 10 Singaporean dollar per gigabyte, and then the next day or throughout the day it decides to, well, I want to go phone from Australia because the coverage in a particular place there you are is better than Telstra, and then you'll be charged much more. Once again, this is a simplified example, but the difference in the roaming rates the operators charge even in the same country can be very different, which can result to unexpected high fees. Number 4, international roaming may result in slower speeds compared to getting a local SIM card. Some operators around the world, they prioritize postpaid customers over prepaid customers, but in some cases they don't do the prioritization at all. If I would be roaming with a foreign operator, let's say if I would be roaming with 3 Denmark, I would get much slower speed because the foreign operator, they prioritize the traffic of their own customers over those who are roaming on the network. A very good example that I can give you is when I was in the US early 2019 when I was roaming with 3 Denmark in Los Angeles. My speeds, they were absolutely horrific. I was using the AT&T network, so I was roaming on the AT&T network. The speeds were unbearable. In fact, I was happy if I got on a bus that had a Wi-Fi connection, because using Wi-Fi would be much faster and a more reliable experience for me than using my 3 SIM card on the AT&T network. But then I went to Dallas with the same SIM card and same phone, and then I had no issues with speed, so then there was no this crazy deprioritization. I also changed to the T-Mobile network, which my partner, which I actually met there, he got a SIM card from T-Mobile to use there, and he had like fast speeds and reasonable speeds, whereas I was struggling. So yeah, there can be a very big difference in speed from a local SIM card from the operator that you're visiting, let's say AT&T, than those roaming on the AT&T network with a foreign operator. So be aware of that. Reason number 5 you may not want to roam internationally is security deposits. There are still some countries around the world or some operators around the world that require you to pay a deposit before you can roam, and depending on the country or the region, it could be on prepaid plans or postpaid plan. For example, with Jazz is a Pakistani operator. They require a 20,000 or 50,000 Pakistani rupee security deposit if you want to roam with the postpaid plan, which is, well, incredibly expensive, whereas the roaming plans are reasonably well priced. And in some countries these security deposits can be, well, insanely high. Sure, you will get the money back eventually, but wouldn't it be better if you could use the money to use it on the experiences while traveling instead of waiting a few months or weeks before you can get the money back because you had to pay a certain security deposit? Luckily, the security deposit system is fading away around the world, but it's still out there, so be aware of that. And number 6, there can be a huge price difference between roaming with a prepaid SIM card and a postpaid SIM card. Recently I made a video about roaming with Digi, which is a Malaysian operator. Digi offers extremely affordable, or at least in my opinion, affordable and reasonable roaming plans to their postpaid customers. Whereas the prepaid customers, they had a few plans, but compared to the postpaid plans, those plans, they look like, well, I wouldn't say a waste, they were still good, but there's a huge price difference. And some of these postpaid plans, they actually came with free roaming in select destinations, whereas with Digi prepaid, you don't get free roaming at all. This is just one example, but there are many countries around the world or many operators around the world where they will give cheaper roaming rates with the prepaid customers or postpaid customers. That really depends on the region, especially in South Asia. The roaming rates with prepaid customers is for some reason sometimes cheaper than postpaid, whereas if you go to Western countries, for example, then roaming with the postpaid plan will be cheaper than a prepaid plan. So there's very inconsistent pricing related to roaming prices. So there you have it, 6 reasons why you should not roam. Remember, I also have a video where I talk about reasons why you should roam. I think I already used the eye up there, so it's not showing there, but you can still click the eye and see the video there. But here are just some 6 reasons why you should not roam. In fact, I actually have many more. I don't want to have like 6 reasons why you should roam and 25 reasons why you shouldn't roam. So what do you prefer when you travel? Do you prefer getting a local SIM card? Do you prefer international roaming, mobile hotspot, international SIM card? Comment down below and let me know. If this video was insightful, make sure to click the like button. And as a reminder, I'm Audu from Phone Travelers that owns this YouTube channel, but also the site phonetravelers.com, where I talk about everything related to traveling with your phone, from local SIM cards, local SIM card reviews, international roaming, mobile hotspot, and just things related to traveling with your phone, like tips, tricks, and hacks. And if you think that's something that sounds like you would like to see more of, make sure to subscribe, and also check out my blog at phonetours.com. I have more articles and guides that I have not covered on YouTube yet, but I would also recommend you to sign up for my newsletter at phonetours.com/newsletter, where you will get an Excel sheet with the best local SIM cards in over 230 destinations, which gets updated once a month. That's it for today, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.